So your question is, I want to understand Shiva and Shakti. Any Sanatana Dharma, any concept has to be understood in 3 dimensions. It's called Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, and Adhyatmika. Adi Bhautika means physical plane, earthly plane. Adi Daivika means the plane which is beyond the physical, subtle, which pervades everything, which is actually universal. Adhyatmika means internal, inner. So 3 levels we can understand anything in Sanatana Dharma. So Adi Bhautika at physical plane, was there a being called Shiva and Shakti, Parvati. So we represent Shiva and Shakti, with Shiva a certain form, Jata, snake, and Shakti, Parvati. So there were 2 people, there were 2 beings, Shiva and Parvati, living in Kailasa, in the physical plane. The Kailasa is the place, physically place, where Manasarovar is there. Shiva and Parvati lived along with their disciples in the physical plane. So they are called Adi Yogis. Shiva is called Adi Yogi, the primordial teacher. From that primordial teacher called Shiva, lot of teaching of yoga, then Tantra was taught to next generation disciples through Nandinatha, who is disciple, then Durvasa Rishi, who took it from Shiva and spread it in Kashmir and rest of the India. So in the physical plane, there were 2 beings called Shiva and Parvati. That's why there's a representation, Shiva and Parvati. They are human beings, but realize the Shiva consciousness. They are yogis realizing Shiva consciousness. So that's the physical plane. In the metaphysical plane, in the universal plane, always there is a creation, sustenance, and dissolution is happening. What we call God, G-O-D, God. Generator, operator, destroyer. So this is happening every moment. It's not one time. Every moment, for example, our breath goes in, breath goes out. There are so many cells in our body die, so many cells come up. So this activity we call as functioning of consciousness, G-O-D, God. God for generator, O for operator, D for destroyer. Generation, operation, and destruction is a continuous process. Generation is called Brahmaji, operation is called Vishnu, and destruction is called Shiva. It's a continuous process. Everything is happening, comes up, sustains, and dissolves. Moment to moment, moment to moment. Okay, it happens at the microscopic level, macroscopic level, cosmic level, everywhere. It's like a wave coming up and going. So the functioning of the consciousness, which is responsible for dissolution, is called Shiva. Okay. Now, the Shiva and Shakti had to be understood as a cosmic principle. So, person, Shiva and Shakti, Shiva and Parvati lived in Kailasa as a person at the physical plane. They are Adi Yogis. Shiva and Shakti as principle, we have to understand. The consciousness is all pervading reality. Everything is consciousness. Consciousness in the absolute reality is stillness. There's no movement there. The totally absolute stillness. There's no creation. There's nothing is there. That is called Parashiva or Parameshwara or Parabrahma. When we add something called Para, so it's all related to that absolute reality. Parameshwara, Parashiva, Parabrahma, all those things, Narayana, all this related to the consciousness at rest. no movement. That's why Narayana is shown as consciousness at rest. These are names, don't get confused with names. The consciousness at rest is called Narayana, complete stillness. The feminine principle, the movement is not there. The movement in the consciousness is called Shakti. The consciousness, when it moves, it's called Shakti. In Parabrahma level, Parashakti is the consciousness which is still. There's no movement at all. Is Parashakti there? She is one with the consciousness, with the Parameshwar. So whenever we add Parabrahma, Parashakti, Parameshwara, they're all related to absolute reality where there is no movement at all. Now, where is that? It is now, here. Everything is that absolute reality, but we are not able to pursue because our mind is constantly moving. Our mind and thoughts and feelings are moving. If our mind, thought, feelings become still, we are one with that absolute reality. Parashiva, Parabrahma, Parameshwara, Parashakti. Okay. So that is called highest principle. From that higher principle, the manifestation comes, the universe. So we call the manifestation, first level of manifestation is called Mahatattva, the universal intelligence. From that, the three egos come, Sattvic ego, Rajasic ego, and Tamasic ego. The creation, sustenance, and destruction, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. So now, these are the functioning of consciousness. The functioning of consciousness happens when the consciousness starts moving. Shiva, which is stillness, Parameshwara, which is stillness, Parashiva, which is stillness, starts moving. Then what we call as Shiva and Shakti appear. This is called primordial Purusha and Prakriti.
Like an expression? It's not like an expression, it's like a movement.
It's appearance.
Appearance,
Right? Appearance in consciousness. So now they're not persons. They're not a persons. It's a principle. Okay. The persons is when it comes to grossest level, the physical plane. Okay. So at the principle level, the cosmic awareness is called Purusha, and the power of cosmic awareness is called Shakti, Maya Shakti or Shakti. So Shakti is nothing but movement in consciousness. Shiva and Shakti are not different. They are one reality. So this is beautifully represented in Nataraja. Nataraja is dancing. The dancer is Shiva. His dance is Shakti. The Shakti is not another person. The dance is Shakti. But at various steps in the dance, everything appears like, for example, when you are moving the hand movement looks like a circle or fire or flower. Like that, various aspects of creation appear in that moment. Okay. The entire universe is nothing but dance of Shiva and Shakti. So the dance of Shiva Shakti appears in your heartbeat, in your breathing, in your seeing, in your touch. Everywhere it's the dance of energy and consciousness. Energy and consciousness. Shiva and Shakti as principle is available to us all the time. Wherever there's movement, it's Shakti. Wherever there's stillness, is Shiva. Everywhere the Shiva and Shakti we can see, experience at all aspects of our life. For example, there's a heartbeat, there's a stillness, again on heartbeat. Heartbeat is tuck, space, tuck. In that space is a Shiva principle. In the tuck, the movement, it's called Shakti principle. In your breath, the breath moves, Shakti principle, stops, Shiva principle, and moves again. So like that, Shiva and Shakti is there in all aspects of creation. There's the dance of Shiva. That's shown Nataraja. So the Nataraja has a Prabhavadi, the outer ring. Outer ring represents the various aspects of creation, like 24 elements, the fire, the water. Everything appears as a moment of consciousness. That's called principle, Shiva and Shakti. So this is at the metaphysical level. At the individual level, which is at our level, it's called Adhyatmika. Physical, metaphysical, and spiritual, or Adhyatmika. In our body, all movements are Shakti. The heartbeat, the blood flow, the eye movement, ear movement, the breath, everything is Shakti. The thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, all these are appearance of Shakti. So the appearance cannot be there without a stillness behind. The wave cannot appear without water. There's a stillness always there in our internally. So that's where all movements are Shiva and Shakti movements. Shiva is stillness, Shakti is moving. So now let's look at the breath. When you observe the breath, there's a breath moves in, breath stops, again moves out. Breath moves in, moves out. This is happening at the body level. It appears to heartbeat, it appears to blinking of the eyes, it appears to blood flow. Everywhere there's a movement, there's a stillness, movement and stillness. So now in this movement and stillness, in the stillness you can find Shiva principle. In the moment you can find Shakti principle. Okay. So now when these movements are happening, the observer of this moment, Sakshi, the witness, there's no change at all. Sakshi is undisturbed. Okay. That Sakshi, the principle of Sakshi, is the transcendental principle beyond this moment. No, Sakshi is not a Parabrahma. Sakshi is witnessing these changes. This Sakshi is Shiva. Shiva is the witness. Okay, now the movement is happening and there's a witness called Shiva. So there's a duality still. There's a movement and witness. Now, when you realize that movement and witness are one reality, the wave and water are one reality, then you are no longer a Sakshi. You have gone beyond Sakshi. There's no do. So in that situation, it's called Parabrahma or supreme level reality. So we can experience Shiva and Shakti in all aspects of our life. When you see something, like you're seeing fan, okay, there's a space in between. The form has a formless together. The thought has a silence together. Thought, breath has a stopping together. So that the together is that movement and stillness. Movement and stillness. When you observe that movement and stillness is the awareness, Shiva. Shiva. So that Shiva, when you understand that movement is not different from Shiva, the Prakriti is not different from Purusha, there's one reality, then what is there is pure awareness or Parabrahma or Parameshwara, who is beyond every creation. So this realization has to happen within. First, we have to recognize our Sakshi, I am Sakshi. Then you have to realize that the movement is nothing but happening in consciousness. What is there? Consciousness only, and I am that consciousness, Parabrahma. So this realization has to happen Adhyatmika level. Adi Bhautika is for historical purpose. Adi Daivika is for puja. Adhyatmika is for relation. That's why Shiva is represented as we are shaped in two forms: as an Adi Yogi, as a man, as a person, as a feminine, masculine, and feminine. Each of these aspects of Shiva is a symbolic in nature to represent yogic characteristics. Shiva was a yogi, and Shiva had many disciples. Primary disciples from Nandinatha, and who went to Sri Lanka and taught Shaivism in Sri Lanka, and Durvas Rishi, who went to Kailasa, who went to Kashmir and taught Shaivism in the Kashmir area from here down. Okay, that's at the physical plane. The representation of snake and all have a yogic symbology, yogic meaning there. It's not that a person was wearing a snake. There are yogic representations. The snake represents the ego, which is actually subdued. The tiger skin represents the vasanas, like that, symbolic of it. But was there a person called Adi Yogi? Was there in the physical plane? Okay. In the metaphysical plane, this principle of Shiva and Shakti is all pervading reality. In Adhyatmika level, Shiva and Shakti is the moment in our consciousness, and Sakshi is Parabrahma. Right? So Shiva is represented, Shiva is as Linga, a form of Linga. Linga means in Sanskrit indicator, pointer. So we say Pullinga means pointer, masculine. Strilinga means pointing to feminine. So Linga is an indicator. So the masculine and feminine together is indicated through that Linga. The upper portion is formless, which is masculine. The lower portion is what's called Pitam, is the feminine. The masculine and feminine together, formless aspect of consciousness and form aspect of consciousness in the form of Prakriti. Purusha and Prakriti is represented through Shiva Linga. Any questions?